everything you think and everything you've experienced in the UK is a lie, according to Boris Johnson's radical far-right government's commissioned report into institutional racism in this not so green and definitely not so pleasant land. Why did this radical far-right government commission this report into race and ethnic disparities in the UK? Why? 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 You see, they published it after the death of George Floyd in America in the summer of 2020. You see, the government was coming under attack for their racism. So they got a group of largely sellout Negroes to produce a whitewash report that they could put in front of the population. And that's why the report was commissioned. It was to exonerate Britain from being a racist country. That's why. You see, when the Black Lives Matter demonstrators started after the brutal murder of George Floyd, some of the politicians and sports stars and celebrities were taking the knee in support, in solidarity with black people being killed, as they say. And Boris Johnson, many of the members of his government, his far-right government, let's not forget, including Priti Patel, were asked if they would take the knee.
Would you take the knee, Prime Minister?
Look, what I want to do is do substantial. Well, let me give you my answer. I don't believe in gestures. I believe in substance.
But what about taking the knee? Would you still take the knee, Home Secretary?
No, I wouldn't. I would not. I would not have at the time either.
Oh, hi. I'm SUNDJATA. I'm the founder of a brand new organization called Warrior for Power. I'm on this platform to seek conscious brothers who are fed up of living under white domination. The aim of Warrior for Power is to bring about the total, radical transformation of the lives of African people on planet Earth within this century, the 21st century. Now, if you are an African brother and want to do something truly amazing for yourself, for your family and your people, then go to patreon.com/warrior for power. You see, the Race and Ethnic Disparities Report headed by the self-hating African of Jamaican parentage, Tony Sewell, was produced to state that there was no orchestrated levels of institutional racism in the UK. You see, all this stuff is a sleight of hand, and many people haven't picked up on it. Orchestrated, intentional. These people are jokers. Now, there's a lot I could say, but I'm going to focus on how the state treats ethnic minorities in regards to policing, in regards to law and order, in regards to the criminal system. This is how international human rights organizations and researchers are looking at China and the Uyghur minority population. They're looking at how they are policed. So let's look at how we as African men, both young and old, are treated in this society. Now, the way you judge a society or the health of the society is how that society looks after the most vulnerable people in its community and the most marginalized people in its community. This is why the Western nations are obsessing over the ethnic minority Uyghur population in China. They're saying, look how you're treating your ethnic minorities. So who are the vulnerable people? Who are the marginalized people in the UK? Well, the vulnerable people would be children, there would be the elderly, there would be the disabled. Who are the marginalized people? There would be the ethnic minorities, there would be Roma gypsies, Africans, Asians. There would be people who fall outside of society's norms. You don't judge a progressive society on education like what they've done in the report. It's just a distraction. It's a calculated distraction. You judge a society on how it treats its most. But first, let me just mention how young sisters are treated in this country. Young women as young as 13 and 14 are targeted for long-term contraceptives. They're given implants at the age of 13, 14, 15. They're given injections. We have a concentration of abortion clinics in our communities. This is in the UK. I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about in the UK. There's a concentration of abortion clinics in our community. You see, the authorities and charities and various health professionals are worried that young women would get pregnant, but they're not worried that they would get HIV and AIDS. Do you see? So they'd rather treat or prevent them from getting pregnant, but do very little to prevent them getting HIV AIDS. It's as if having an African child is the worst thing that can happen to a young woman. Think about that. And if you don't believe me, go and do some Googling. Go and search abortion clinics in the main urban areas in this country and have a look where they're located. They're located in our community, not in Asian communities. No. Not in poor working class communities, no. But in African communities in the UK. This is shocking stuff. This stuff is so bad that it's become normalized in our community. We have been targeted for population control within the UK. And people say there's no institutional racism. Think about that. We are the only community, the only large community in this country where we are targeted for population control and suppression. And they target young girls, they target teenagers and young women in our community. Now, the police have been killing brothers in the UK for a very long time. Hundreds have died in police custody and in prison custody. Hundreds. Over 50 years. And not a single policeman has been found guilty, been prosecuted, has been sentenced to prison. Not one. Think about that. Not one. The system in this country is so institutionally racist that they have not been able in 50 years to find one policeman guilty of killing a brother in the UK. This goes all the way back to the persecution a brother who had mental health issues back in 1969, David Olawale in Leeds in 1969, which drove him to his death in 1969. It goes all the way back to then. Not a single prosecution. You can take it up to the point of 2017 when Rashan Charles was strangled to death in an off-license in Hackney. Age of 22 or 23, left a young son. The police that strangled him got off scot-free. So from 1969 to 2017, all the deaths in that period, no, not a single policeman has been found guilty and sentenced. And these people are saying there's no institutional racism, that the institution does not give our people a fair hearing, does not give our people justice in more than 50 years. But this is not my main point. Now, we all know the outrage, the total outrage of stop and search. We are stopped and searched 9, 10 times, 14 times higher than white people in the UK. And we are stopped overwhelmingly for drug possession. Even though we have a lower rate of drug use in the UK than white people. Think about that. So if they were to stop loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of white people at the same rate they stop us, they would get more drugs. But they don't. But this is not my main point. International human rights organizations are questioning the Chinese government over its over its need or wish to collect the DNA of the majority of Uyghur men and boys. They want to know why the majority of Uyghur men and boys' DNA are on a national database. Why? Just contrast that with the silence of the United Nations and other human rights bodies over the treatment of brothers in the UK in terms of DNA collection. In the UK, 1 in 2 brothers, 1 in 2 African males, including those who identify as black, are on the National Criminal Database for life or for 100 years. Just think about that. The majority of us are on a national database, just like the Uyghurs in China. And the far-right radical government of Boris Johnson says there's no institutional racism in the UK. You see, if you have a male relative that has been arrested or is witness to a crime, the police routinely take the DNA from people arrested, particularly those who are charged. And that DNA is then stored on a criminal database. So if you have a male relative and you are a male, so it doesn't apply to the sisters, but if you are a male, so say you have a nephew that has committed a chargeable offence, and apparently nearly all offences are chargeable. If your nephew's committed a chargeable offence and their DNA is taken and you're his uncle, then you are on the criminal database for life. Same as if it's your son, your brother, your dad, your cousin. So any male in your family that has a relative that's on the criminal database, that means automatically you are also on the criminal database and you cannot ask to be removed. And it's for life. It's for 100 years. No, just ask yourself, how is that different from what's happening to the Uyghurs in China? They're on a database for life in China. We are on a database for life in the UK. Now, a lesser brother or a non-African will be saying, well, if you didn't commit the crime, you wouldn't be on the criminal database. Well, as I pointed out to you, you can have no contact with the police. You are unknown to the police, as they say, and you're still on the criminal database. And you're on there for life. Not for a few years, not for until the case has been solved, for life. How is that right? How is that not a form of institutional racism? How? How is it not? Okay, things are so bad in the UK in terms of institutional racism against brothers that it's become normalised. Just look at the prisons. Look at the prison population. We Africans make up approximately 3% of the population of the UK. 3%. We make up 12% of the prison population. We are 4 times overrepresented in the prison system compared to our numbers in the general public. 4 times. If you go to the States, they are 3 times more overrepresented in the prisons. Brothers are 3 times more overrepresented in the prison system in the US. We are 4 times overrepresented. It's a joke. I haven't even talked about the mental institutions. I haven't talked about that. No, it's even worse there. Trust me when I say that there is no other group, male or female, whether it's African women or Asian women or Asian men, there is no other group like African males and those males that identify as black who are on the criminal DNA database in such numbers to define us as definitely a criminal class and a second or third class citizen in the UK, based entirely on race. Because the people are brought in, our brothers are brought into the system largely through a racist police force. So we are on the system through race. Do you see? Now, here's the thing. Here's the real killer. Talk about pre-crimes. So, you are on the National Criminal Database. I am on the National Criminal Database. Every night, the National Criminal Database is run against DNA matches that the police have provided the lab with. So they provide DNA samples to the lab, and every night, without fail, your DNA is put up against a live case. Every night. So basically, we are being surveilled every single night. And here's the thing. DNA capture and storage and analysis isn't perfect. You could be arrested for a crime that you didn't commit. So forget this report. You see, for the longest time, people have been promoting lies as truth and truth as lies. That's what the radical far right do around the world. Just forget the report. It's rubbish. This is our reality. What I've explained to you is our reality. Not this whitewash. Now, again, if you are fed up of living under white domination and you are a brother, you are a conscious brother, then join Warrior for Power. I'm not looking for everyone to join. I estimate only 0.00001% of brothers in the UK and around the world are fit enough to join Warrior for Power. So what does that mean? It means out of 750,000 men and boys in the UK, I expect only between 30 and 10 brothers who get it and who want to do something about it. The rest don't get it. So it's not my problem. I'm here for the 10 or 30 brothers in the UK and the equivalent number around the world. So come, join Warrior for Power.